Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Editor podcast. God, any fucking lines there already. God, it's been a long weekend, and I'm sure everyone can relate. 1 point gained, 2 points dropped. Who knows? We're going to chew the fat. We're going to talk all things from that performance against Forest. We've got Inter coming up. What on earth do we do? We're 7 points ahead. We've got United coming up. Suddenly, that's a massive game. And of course, I have just got a ticket thanks to Rory. Rory, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate.
You good?
I'm good. It's been a frustrating, weird weekend, hasn't it? The highs of United the highs of United being City, followed by the frustrating result against Forest. It's been, it's been a weird weekend to mentally take it all in, because at one point, I think, directly after the game, we watched it together.
We did.
We weren't best pleased after the Forest game, but I think now we've all settled down and you look out and see the bigger picture. We're not in a bad position. But it does just mean that we have left ourselves not much wiggle room for the United game.
Yeah. There's a weird amount to talk to, given that we are 7 points clear in the league. But given the way the last two Premier League games have gone, it certainly does feel a bit strange. I was I'll walk you through my Saturday. It was a roller coaster for sure. I mean, got up, went for the gym, which first time in ages, feel great. I'm on top of the world. I go make some lunch. United game's on in the background. I'm not expecting anything. Another 3-0 win from City. A goal goes in. It's offside. Suddenly 5 goals and 3 of them disallowed, but 2 count. Later, life's looking good. I'm going on Sky later with Jay Boothroyd. I'm thinking I'm going to be flexed. We're going to, you're coming over. We're talking all things podcast. We're looking forward to the game. I make you a lovely tzatziki.
You do.
One of the great tzatziki's from scratch.
It was.
Yeah. And
Top 5.
All things are looking good until, let me get my list up. Martinelli, Zubimendi, Ben White, Declan Rice, Marino, and Bukayo Saka all miss gilt-edged chances to put this game to bed from what was a very difficult performance. I mean, look, we've talked about it weirdly. I mean, I know that you've talked about how you felt actually in the moment, Rory, but I'm sure a bit of people home can relate to that. I certainly felt that. How do you feel now? If I was going to gun to your head, say, was it 1 point gained or 2 points dropped? What would you say about that game?
I think it was, to be brutally honest, I think it was a bit of an outlier as a game. We had so many chances, as everyone knows, but it just was one of those frustrating games. You have them in a season, games that you can look back and think, oh, we could have won that 3-0. But it's, at the same time, again, it's a opportunity missed. So if you ask me, my head changes every 5 minutes.
No, me too.
Do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird, but I think we've just got to remember again that we cannot win every single game in this season. It was also the first time that Forest had their complete back four that they had last season, back five, I should say, where they were so good last season, and everyone was having them in their everyone was having these players in their fantasy football team, in their FPL team. On the hope that they were going to get clean sheets, which they did. It's also Sean Dyche at home, evening game evening game away. It's a tough place to go. I don't think we can be too upset. I really don't. They are, as a team, they are so much better than where they are currently in the table. And I think people forget that by just looking at the table and thinking, oh, because they're 17th or wherever they are, we should steamroll them. And almost, I think that we're all guilty of, as soon as the United City game happened, looking at that Forest game, well, that's automatic. Well, for us, it was automatic. That should be 3 points. But it's, then the team sheet comes out. There's obviously been a lot of discussion about whether Saka should have played, whether Trossard should have played. I mean, I'd love to know your thought, because we haven't really spoken about it since.
No, we haven't. I actually switched off pretty close after.
Yeah, I mean, we left. Yeah. I left pretty soon after the game. I left yours pretty soon after the game. But I mean, in your opinion, do you think that Arteta got it right?
Look, I think yes is my answer, actually, to be honest. The reason why I do is because not a single one of us questioned it when the team comes out. I think hindsight is a wonderful thing that we can all look back on. The brilliance of this squad is the ability to change, right? We went away to Forest, who had played twice since the last time we played. We were okay in the first half, but we were in control. Pretty much what you want to do when you're away at somewhere like a really hard ground to go to, like Forest, right? Then we had a good 15-minute patch where, quite frankly, we should have scored. So Mendy, was it a cross? Was it a shot? Martinelli, I think Ben White as well. Like Martinelli, Jesus Christ, yeah, of course he should have scored. But, there was a patch where we should have scored. But basically, we were getting our foot in the game. And once you played twice, and it's the third game in a row where you're away, I think basically, fine. A few things weren't going too well. You don't know how the opposition's going to line up. It's the first time they had their back five.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot predict what the other team is going to do, right? He's gone out with a team. The only real one that is resting a player as such is probably the Saka one for Madueke, but not one of us had a problem with Madueke starting. So basically, I don't think Arteta got it wrong at all, and I think he made the changes that had an impact in what we were creating. He did them early. He, I think, threw a bit of a kitchen sink situation on. Eze came on, Bukayo Saka came on, Marino came on when he needed to. He looked great, but ultimately, he's managed and coached a team to get 2xG or over 2xG in a performance where we created so many chances. You can argue where they came from. Was it open play? Was it set piece? It was a bit of both, but whatever. Ultimately, you've had 2xG, conceded next to naught with no shots on target, and the players don't put them in. Like, I don't really know what more a coach can do.
Yeah,
you can't kick the ball for them. I broadly think that the manager's job is basically XG difference. Mm-hmm. If you're getting more XG in the opposition, you're basically doing pretty well as a coach, and ultimately you can't kick the ball in the net for the players, right? Maybe there's a confidence element in man management, of course, I get that nuance, but my frustration is how many times this season have we had an everything but game where we go, we've had that performance and we've just left goals on the table, or we had so many chances, and the worry for me is those tend to feel like in high leverage moments or very high pressure games. Yeah. And every game's going to become high pressure from now on.
Yeah.
And my worry isn't how we're being coached to get chances, because, again, you can argue where they're coming from, but it's more like what players are stepping up in the big moments to just put the ball in.
Yeah,
I agree.
Martinelli,
that's not acceptable. That is really, really that's a lack of concentration, that tap in. And I know he got a hat trick last week, but come on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Focus.
I get you. I think ultimately it comes down to when we look at the team sheet, everyone would have felt confident that team could have got a result.
100%.
So that's where it comes down to. What I'm slightly at ends with, and I think it's a bit of an issue now because the squad is so big, is the rotation of our players becomes a bit of an issue, because if you look at teams in the past who've done really well, you look at the 2023-2024 team, we played the same team week in, week out. So I've done some research. I've done some research.
He's a stats man. God, you've had a pretty chill Sunday. Naka was away this weekend, wasn't she?
Exactly, she was. So I got my research hat on.
Nice.
So in terms of players starting 28 games or more during that 2023-24 season.
23-24.
23-24. When we won 2 points.
16.
Yeah. So was it this shirt? I think it was the shirt. So the shirt we're wearing, the lovely lime green shirt. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 8 players start 28 games or more, and they were Saliba, Rice, White, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel, Raya, and Havertz. And right now, I feel like we won't reach that amount of numbers for people to start that many games. And if you keep bringing people in and out of the team, it just means, especially when they're new signings, it just means they can't gel. And I know that players are coming back from injuries. I know that Havertz is coming back, obviously, so he wouldn't have had a chance to link up with Madueke or Eze or people like that, who I know that fans are keen to put them back in the team and see how they'll gel in. I know that people are keen to move Odegaard out and give Eze a bit of a run. So it becomes a bit of a sticking point, because you just need consistency. And I feel like if we had basically a set team for the Premier League, we would do potentially the attacking issues would maybe go away. It's hard to say, but I think it gives us a better chance.
Opportunity to gel.
Exactly, and it gives us a better chance of, as I say, getting to know exactly what players are doing, where players are going to run. as I say, obviously injuries come into it and it becomes a bit of a factor. But you just need an element of consistency. You could look back to when Leicester won the league and they basically played the same team throughout the whole season. Liverpool last year, their team basically remained unchanged. There is obviously again injuries and luck comes into it, which is a massive part. But it's something to just carefully manage because, as I say, the problem is when you take on such a big squad, everyone is hungry to play.
Yeah.
And when they don't play, and when they've come from a history of playing consistently for their own clubs, they're obviously going to get a bit annoyed. And also you could include the younger players like Ethan and Miles and whoever who have played a lot, especially last season, who are now not getting the game time. It falls a lot with Arteta to manage them well, and I've got confidence he can do it. But it's it's a long season. We've got a lot of games to play, depending on how deep we go in the cup or the different cups. But it's just something to watch out for because obviously the more you change teams and the more you rotate, particularly in those attacking areas, the less likely, as I say, you have a chance to build up chemistry and know exactly where players are going to go and make the runs and all that. So. We'll see. We effectively have 4 strikers right now: Marino, Gyökeres, Jesus, and Havertz, all coming back. I would say that, and it'd be interesting to see what you think. I would say that my ranking currently, in terms of how I'd like to see players start, particularly in the Premier League, would go Havertz, Jesus, Marino, and as bad as it sounds, Gyökeres. Just from a standpoint in terms of Premier League built. Ready for the Premier League, suited to the Premier League. Cups, I think that's a different issue altogether. I think you can obviously experiment and play strikers who haven't played so much to keep it fresh. But I just think for the Premier League, you do need to have a element of like a standard team, a consistent team you play. I don't know what you think of that, but it's difficult and you need to manage it very well, as I say. But I just think it's something that needs to be kept an eye on.
I don't think we can sit here and honestly say that we haven't for the last 4 years shouted rotation. Like at all times we're saying that.
Well,
I get that. And I get what you're saying. And there's 2 schools of thought here. Klopp, his time where he's won stuff with Liverpool.
Yep.
Van Dijk, Mane, Firmino, Henderson, Salah. They all played 36 plus starts in the Premier League season. Pep, he had a big squad. And for the first 6 months of Pep's 6 months of each season, you wouldn't have a clue. Like, how many times have you gone, if you want to use the Fantasy League thing, how many times you go, I'm not putting any attackers of City in because I've got no idea who's going to start. And the reason is because he rotates until January, February, March. That's when it really finds your best form. Ferguson used to do this all the time. You find your group. I mean, there's a school of thought that that's what we're doing with Eze. A lot of people are starting to say, well, actually, because of that, this famous stuff that went around about how everyone's seen it now, but how little. This is like the most amount he's ever basically played in the first half of the season compared to Palace. Yeah. So, are we saving him for those big? That last 20 game run in, which we're basically starting to get into now when it comes to all the cups as well. But we've rotated a lot. We've bedded in players as best we can. We've had a lot of injuries, all at the back and then all at the front. And now we're in a situation where a lot of people are coming back, and we've found out about a lot of players. I think we know where we are with quite a lot of players now, and it's time to stop messing around with these kinds of things. Although, having said that, I think I would play the kids at Inter. 100%. We'll go into that, I think, in a bit of detail. But you also mentioned Gyökeres there, and is now the time to do it? Because I think going through.
Let's do it. Let's have our weekly feature on Gyökeres.
So for those of you at home, we in 23-24 we went on, out of 18 games we won 16, lost 1, drew 1. We ended up losing the title. Very sad, but not a bottle, may I add.
It's another squad.
It was one of the most exciting runs I think I can remember at all supporting Arsenal, and we were wearing this kit. It is the yellow, slightly mental neon,
it is
jazzy, zebra, crazy kit.
Someone's taken acid at Adidas and be like, I've got an idea.
And given the failings of Gyökeres at the moment, and given that we're 16 games out, and it's just starting to feel like the run-in, we've come in and wore our Havertz away shirts
We
from
have.
that season, and I want it to ignite, and I want it to just change what we're doing, whatever it is with Gyökeres and whatever it is we're pissing about with. Right, it is time to change what we're doing. So I don't know how to do this on camera because no one can see, but you're gonna have to trust us. We've got Havertz on the back.
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 And look,
It's time. Set him free.
am I a 33-year-old man coordinating with my friend to wear a Havertz shirt on a podcast? Yes.
Correct.
However, the question remains, I guess, is like, okay, so what would you... look, if you want my opinion on the Gyökeres stuff, it's
Well, how do you think he played? How do you think he played against Forest?
shocking. I'll be honest, mate. I'm so... Look, I feel so bad on the guy. He's trying so hard. He's
Yeah.
not. He's putting everything on the line for the shirt, and I cannot fault him as a person. I can't. Like, I'm not sitting here like Sterling last season. How many times have me and you really called out a player? Like basically never, apart from Sterling.
Yeah.
And
I'd say we're pretty fair.
I think we're pretty fair.
We give players
I don't,
more than enough time before
yeah.
negative words.
And
come
a
into
week
play.
ago, we sat here and said we don't have time to keep trying to bed him in.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just reiterate that. I don't know what else to say. Like, if there was ever a time that made me realise we're never gonna play to Gyökeres' strength, was when he did go through one goal that one time. And what stood out to me wasn't necessarily he missed. Well, I don't think he did that badly. There's a few bad touches, fine, but ultimately he ends up getting a shot away. The defender got back, but I was like, oh, I think that's the first time I've seen that all season.
Yeah.
And that just means, oh, we don't play like that. So what's the point?
No, and I
He
think
doesn't
also
hold the ball.
yeah.
He's not that strong. He's supposed to be a bit quicker, and I think he'll get quicker. I think he was very, very fast last season. He was the second fastest player in the Champions League on statistically. But that player's not here. It's not working. Honestly, at this point, with Maneri sitting out and with Havertz coming back, I don't even see the value of him on the bench right now. I'll be completely honest.
It's harsh, but
Is that unfair?
I don't think it's unfair given what we've seen so far, which is quite a big sample size now.
It's a huge. It's half a season.
It is.
He was injured for about 6 weeks.
There'll be a lot of people saying that we're just not playing to his strengths. I know there's a lot of spotlight on Saka apparently not passing to him. I don't buy that.
No, me neither.
I don't buy that at all, and I don't buy the video of him pushing Saka away to get to Ben White. I think naturally he's just exciting to score. If you've just scored, you're so not aware of your surroundings and who that could have been any player in our squad and he would have pushed them away. It could have been Arteta and he pushed them away just to get Ben White to say thanks to his mate for setting him up. But I kind of agree. The problem is now that we have so many different striking options. Throw in the fact that Mourinho has legitimately thrown his hat in the ring as a viable option up top.
Yeah.
And we have also played the best football all season with Mourinho up top. We beat Bayern. I can't remember what the other game was, but with him playing up top. So it's from what you want as a striker is if you're not going to put the ball in the net, you want link-up play and you want chance creation.
Yeah.
And we're just not seeing those two with Gyökeres at all.
At all.
Yes, he's dragging players away, but that is a bare. I mean, you sign Chris Wood, stick him in the team, and he would do the same.
Yeah.
It's. There's a lot of praise going onto him for doing things that you'd expect a League Two player, like League Two striker, to do.
Genuinely, yeah.
Of his size.
Look, and I think he could. He's got a 5-year contract, and he could well go and explode. And that's absolutely. I'm really looking. If he can do that, that is amazing. Get fit, he can gel. But we're going to have to see that from the training ground now. We can't afford these points in a season where we've got such a good opportunity, like just for the sake of trying to, satisfy the pounds that we spent on him. We don't.
Yeah.
We've got players coming in, and genuinely, if I'm Declan Rice, if I'm Bukayo Saka, if I'm Trossard, if I'm Martinelli, if I'm, Ødegaard, these players who have tried and tried and tried and ultimately haven't got over the line.
Yeah.
And I mean this in the nicest possible way. Are you not knocking on Arteta's door saying, look, we've got to change something here?
Mm.
Like, I don't think it can go on.
I think that it would also become pretty damning when Havertz comes back and has the qualities that we are looking for in a striker. Thing is, he's technically not even a striker. That's the strange thing. I mean, I know that he was on. I mean, last time he played a striker, which is a year ago.
Yeah.
Where he was on such a hot streak in terms of scoring, and then obviously got the injury in Dubai or whenever it was, and then we've basically missed him for a whole year. He will give us, I'm hoping, everything that we kind of need right now. But I just think there comes a point where with Gyökeres, maybe we just cut our losses, because it's not only hurting the club, it's also doing him real damage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not fair to just keep wheeling him out when the spotlight's so heavy on him. And maybe it's just a case of the spotlight being too heavy on him playing, because he was signed for what, 62 million? He was less
55.
Well, well, maybe rising up to that, but he was less money than Mbuemo and Cunha and Sesko and all that. So he's signed in today's market, not really as
he was a cheap signing.
Exactly. So,
genuinely.
But he's been spotlighted as the main Arsenal wonder signing that cost a lot of money, and people sort of forget that he wasn't really bought for that money.
No.
But maybe if you're being ruthless, if you're Andrea Berta, you look at when it comes to the end of the season, if he carries on like this at the end of the season, you think, right, well, we may as well cut our losses here. As bad as it sounds, I really don't like saying that, but there has to come a point where you have the squad in place that we have now. It is pointless trying to fudge in a player who just doesn't fit our system, and he clearly at this point just doesn't do that. So you may as well get some money back, where he's still very highly regarded. He will be unbelievably highly regarded in Europe.
Yeah.
Because he can do it if he went to France, he'd absolutely just destroy that league. In Portugal, destroy the league. In Spain, he might do the same. Italy, I think he'd be amazing.
Would you sell him this transfer window?
No, I wouldn't sell him this transfer window, because you've got the pressure of trying to bring someone in, and in this transfer window you can't do that.
But do we have to bring anyone in? Like, genuinely, because
I think you do. I think you still do. I think you still need an out and out striker, because I think people will easily forget. The whole reason we went out to try and sign him was because we felt like we needed a striker, and I'm hoping that we won't get to that point if Havertz starts playing more, where maybe he's not in that position that, say a Giroud was, or an Aubameyang, or even a Gyökeres, where they're in the 6-yard box and they don't really move from there. Where if the ball goes across the box, then you think, oh, like if only we had an out and out striker to put that in, because that was.
But that's gonna happen.
But that was a whole rant last year.
Yeah, it was. But like, Havertz was injured for half the season. For me, Havertz is not a midfielder. Like, I don't really like. But I think he's a striker. And I know everyone says, "Oh, he's not a striker." I think he is. He runs hard. He controls the ball. He's a target man.
Yeah.
He gets himself in the box and he creates chances. Like, yeah, he can miss a tap in from time to time, and it's really annoying. But the man scores goals.
Yeah,
and he is the a phrase I heard once. He's the 9iest 9 you could 9. Like he's a striker.
Yeah.
He just happens to not have come from that sort of pedigree. And you know what? I'm looking at our squad, and I'm looking at Marino. I'm looking at Jesus and Havertz, and I think that's enough. Even if you want to put in Ranieri to sub in for a bit at 9, like I genuinely I don't.
I disagree. I think we do still need someone.
So my question is to you then: would you rather have? In what situation would you be playing Gyökeres over the other three with him in the squad, and therefore, and if the answer is basically never, is it even worth him having in the squad? I'm being slightly facetious.
Yeah, I don't think you can play. You can't obviously play Havertz every single game.
No.
I don't think Jesus is a. I don't think Jesus has looked great when he's come back, because we've been so used to Gyökeres and Marino. So it's amazing for us to suddenly see a mobile forward who's a tricky forward. But at the same time, when he was playing, he does miss a lot of chances. His finishing isn't great.
And he didn't set the world alight on Saturday.
Well, no, exactly. And it's also it's a small sample size, but again, there's an argument to say he's better on the wing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or playing with another striker. But I just think if you were to be completely ruthless and just say, do you know what, we made a mistake with Gyökeres, let's try and recoup some money back, and let's go and get someone who maybe isn't as high profile, like maybe doesn't have the scoring stats abroad like Gyökeres or whatever, but is more tricky, like more technically ability, has more technical ability than Gyökeres, can fashion a chance by himself, has the link-up play, is a decent finisher. I know that there are not many players like that out there currently, and
Watkins over the summer.
Well, it was someone like that, but they will cost a premium as well, because as I say, they are in short supply.
But what would you do right now, though?
Keep it as
Next
it is.
6 months.
Keep it as it is. You've got Havertz coming back. it would be stupid to lose a player without having someone lined up. It'd be moronic. But
I don't mean in the transfer window. I just
Sure.
mean, what would you be doing now?
I think, as I say, the depth order would be Havertz,
Yeah.
Jesus, Marino, and then Gyökeres
See, for me, Havertz is top of that list, but can't be because he's just
coming back. Sure.
coming back. So I think I'll take
Yeah.
time. But basically, you're absolutely right. I think he's our best striker. What I saw this weekend was not a chance creation necessarily across the board. It was, but basically all of our goals seem to be coming from lots and lots of different angles. But basically, our front three, no matter who's in there, really everybody's underperforming at the moment. And I kind of don't think that's nothing to do with the fact that Gyökeres is playing. I think we basically aren't having someone in that middle as a centre forward creating and helping and doing anything else. So, and I think that's everyone is underperforming for that kind of reason. But the other thing is that in his high pressure moments, we're not putting the ball in the net.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who I feel really comfortable with, other than like Declan Rice in the midfield, is that who can handle these moments is Mikel Merino.
That's a Trossard as well.
And Trossard, but and yeah, fair enough. But I think, we were crying out for Merino, weren't we? We were in our living room this weekend. Like, I was thinking he just needed to come on, and when he did, ironically he missed that header, but I basically think he did as well as he could. I just think he has to start. I don't care if it's centre forward or if it's away. Maybe Merino starts ahead of Ødegaard in away games because Ødegaard looked a little bit fragile and ultimately has done a few times now in away games. But I just wonder if, is Merino the adult in the room or on the pitch that we need to A, calm things down, and B, have that clinicalness that basically nobody else does at the moment?
I don't. I disagree. I think that where we are lacking currently is we don't have a 10. We don't have Ødegaard playing as a 10. We don't have someone playing directly behind the striker who's feeding balls in. It's obviously different on a game-by-game basis. You play against teams away that play the low block, or you play against Champions League games where it's a bit more open and there's a bit more space. But I do think that the reason why, again, Ethan looked so good against Portsmouth is because he was playing as a 10, which we just haven't seen in a while.
2-8 sort of, 2-10s, yeah.
And I know there's a lot of frustration with Ødegaard. You look at social media, for instance, against who was at Bournemouth, where I just feel like Ødegaard at the moment is taking way too many touches around the box and slowing everything down. And I mean, we asked the question on Instagram as to whether you would rotate Eze for Ødegaard, and overwhelmingly the response was just to take Ødegaard out of the team and bring Eze in, which I think we kind of need because, again, we played our best football with Eze in the team and Marino up top. Maybe it is time to explore that again. Because at the time when that was happening, we'd smashed Tottenham, beat Bayern, and then suddenly Ødegaard comes back. And it's been a bit. The result was we are still obviously 7 points clear, so we
have extended our.
We are nitpicking, but at the same time, if you want to win the league, you need to be ruthless. Which at the time of recording this, we have played 2 games against Liverpool and Forest, and we haven't scored a goal. So, and I know, and again, it was kind of going against what I've said at the beginning of the podcast, where the Forest game was, as you say, 2 plus XG, and we just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. But, the chances, all of our chances this season are coming from set pieces. The majority are. And I think, I can't remember what the stat was. I did see as I was literally walking into the room that the games that we haven't scored a set piece are games that where we've looked to drop points. I don't know what the stats are. I'm not going to put my name on that, but it's pretty worrying when you do look at the games that we haven't scored a set piece in, because we are at the moment we're still so reliant on it.
We're so reliant as a first goal. I think if we score that Martinelli chance, which was the second phase of a set piece,
it's a different game.
We score that Gabriel, against Liverpool in that last minute. Like, how much are we going to risk that? But slightly different, I suppose. But if we score these goals early, it's a different game.
Yeah. I don't think anyone particularly played well as well I thought Ben White had a really bad game.
It's interesting. I've heard people think he was outstanding, and I remember me and you. That first half, by the way, I thought he was incredible.
Yeah.
And then that second half seemed to just completely lose it.
It was just the problem was we were looking when we were watching the game. It was sloppy passes that were so unusual for us. There was no tempo. There was no pressing. Everyone looked a bit lethargic, which is granted given you're 3 games into a 4-game away game streak. So maybe it is just constantly travelling, playing tough games. They had a really tough game against Chelsea as well, which can be emotionally and mentally and physically draining. So you have to give them some leeway, and obviously that's where the changes come in. But yeah, it's at the same time, we are going for a title, and you need to make these opportunities count if they come about, which at the moment we're not doing. So it's a bit frustrating.
Well, I agree, and it's so funny, isn't it? We're sitting here and we're really trying to nitpick on what we could have done better, and we're 7 points clear. We're top of the Champions League, and we can ultimately rotate against Inter Milan comfortably and still come in the top 2, almost guaranteed. And we're in a goal up in the second leg of the only semi-final that we could have reached so far. We are nitpicking, but the reason is because it's such a good path to success this season, and there are things that we can see that could hold it back from happening. And for me, what I'd love to see is a really good stint with Eze actually on the left. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think it's realistic to expect Ødegaard to come out very often, just because he's starting at least, right? Because he's our captain. I basically just don't think Arteta will do it.
No.
Even in away games. And look, Trossard has been awesome. But ultimately, he's always been slightly patchy, and I'm more than happy for him to come on after 60 minutes because he's amazing off the bench. Martinelli, I'd love to see him come off the bench, basically, because I think that's where he's best. Eze, I'd just like to see him have a go. Ultimately, I'd love to just give him a starting position and say, look, you're the one that can make a difference here. I want you to come inside a bit more often, link up with Marino, Jesus, or Havertz, whoever's in the middle. Look for those balls, make stuff happen. And I know he's not necessarily the quickest, but you don't leave Eberechi in Eze in space. And sometimes I do just think we've got so many defensive players who are so good behind him. I know we worry about, and we did look at that, the goal against Villa where he didn't track back and basically didn't play a minute for 4 games afterwards. But it's I just think, can we not just trust our amazing defenders and take that slight risk going forward? And that's just not something Arteta likes to do, unfortunately. And we're sitting looking at Nwaneri on the bench, not on the bench, I should say. And it's just, we're looking for a goal or a player that can basically pull something out of the bag. Who do you think in our squad can do that? It's basically Eze, and I'd say Nwaneri. I wouldn't even say Saka at the moment is doing anything that is just pulling a rabbit out of the hat. So, but Eze and Nwaneri are basically the only 2 people in the squad that can, and both of them aren't really getting minutes.
Yeah, I think Saka's work goes under.
I mean, he was incredible.
It goes underappreciated because we're so used to it. So anything he does that is above good, we kind of it kind of goes over our heads.
Yeah.
Whereas if other players were doing it, we'd laud them far more. But yeah, I kind of agree. If on paper, if you had a front 4 of Ødegaard, Eze on the left, Saka on the right, and then Havertz, on paper, you think that team is sensational and should be so fluid and would be a handful for any team in the world. We just haven't seen it. That's the problem. There is obviously a discussion point about Eze's tracking back, because I know that obviously Arteta likes to have his wingers really pushing when it's on the defensive side of the ball, and really running their legs into the ground.
Yeah,
and we'll call them out pretty ruthlessly if they're not doing it. Can he change his ways? He's never really been a player like that, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously, when you've got Calafiori as well, who likes to play as our striker, it's a bit different. So I agree. I think we need to give it a go. I really do. I would like to see it. I think at this point in time, we need to explore all avenues.
Yeah, we need to. I just think. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We basically drew away at home and away from home, and it's God, imagine if we'd done that and City had won. You know, it would have been tough.
But it's-
Actually, would that have been worse? I don't know. It
But
was
it's
more than
more-
9-point opportunity. Look, and the worrying thing for me is, you know, we're looking at it's the psychological element of having put them to the sword and would have been great. And the only reason we're now having these conversations about Eze and suddenly everyone on the bench. My point is, everyone on the bench is suddenly the best player
Yeah.
because they're not the ones that basically didn't do the business on the pitch. So suddenly everyone on the bench is the best player because, you know, they're not the ones that drew the game. But I do think there's an element of trying to, you know, just have some kind of risk with creativity and
Killer
compared
instinct.
to- yeah.
But when we last won the league in whenever it was, more than 20 years ago, but we had players like Wiltord or Lundberg who would step up in key moments and would always be that clutch player. At the moment, it's kind of been Trossard recently, I feel like.
Yeah.
But he's sort of fading out of form at the moment.
Like a little bit, but that's fine.
Kind
Like,
of,
do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
not-
It's
not-
really-
not much. He's
carried
still
us for
great.
so long.
Exactly. So there's only so much he can do. But I just think we are in need of other players stepping up who in the past have stepped up, like Odegaard or Saka. And it's particularly in terms of the output. I know that Saka's still been very effective, but it's just not happening for him in terms of goals at the moment, which has obviously been highly reported on.
It is, but I kind of think how much Saka does. His assists were always higher than his goals, and I basically think that was his strength. But with Gyökeres in the middle, maybe not doing the runs that he's used to, I don't really know what else he can do because he's been so good. Having said that, knowing what he's capable of, I think he can. He's got a Salah season in him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said in a podcast about maybe 10, 15 games ago that I'm scared that we've seen the best of Saka because of his multiple injuries. Because wingers typically peak at 23, statistically. So just like mathematically, biologically, and his injuries, like his output is dwindling at the moment. And like ultimately, I think he'll probably get it back. But my worry is maybe if he doesn't, it's a bit worrying. But he's been so good. If he had somebody that he's used to up top, I think it'd be a different game. And I don't think this Gyökeres situation has helped anybody else on the pitch.
It's funny though, because do you remember we sat here at the beginning of the season thinking, well, Saka's been double teamed, if not triple teamed, on that right wing. And now you've got Gyökeres, who's going to pull defenders away, and then even Eze is going to pull defenders away as well.
Space.
There should be so much space, but it's just not happening.
But it was for a bit, and then it just stopped because I think people didn't really rate Gyökeres anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
Like genuinely, I think we specifically came on like 4 or 5 games in, like how much. I think there was a specific video we did about how much space
pressure he
Martinelli or Trossard and Saka had. So I do find it interesting. But look,
So what would your team be again? Because we asked this on Instagram, but what would your front line be for United?
United.
I
would go Saka, Eze, and Marino.
Okay.
I think we need Marino on the pitch. I don't think it's in midfield. I think he's the adult. I think he can make things happen. He's a box crasher. Is he a target man? He's creative. I don't think he's perfect, but I don't think we have anybody perfect.
Over Jesus.
Yeah, I think Jesus would be good to bring on.
Okay.
But I also don't. I just don't think it's too early for Havertz in to start. Never mind anything else. So I would.
Because
like to put him in.
we asked this on Instagram.
What did everyone say?
And we said, who would you start up top for United? I was kind of shocked by the results
Oh yeah.
because with 36% was Havertz, but 35% was Gyökeres.
Wow.
So there's still a lot of love for
Yeah.
Gyökeres to get him starting up top for United, which I find a bit strange. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I do find that a bit strange.
Because-
And I respect that, to be fair, like, keeping faith, but I just...
Because the other question we asked was whether would you like to see Eze played more in the league? So we had 40% say yes, we should rest Odegaard and start Eze. 11% said keep Odegaard playing the most minutes. 27% said play both Eze and Odegaard, which I think is definitely an option for sure. And then 22% said play Eze on the wing more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of even, well, kind of slightly evenly spread, but I think that there is definitely there's definitely I do think that there's definitely a movement for Odegaard to maybe be rested for a game or two,
Yeah.
and to see what Eze can do, because I mean, the last time we properly saw him was when he scored a hat-trick against Spurs.
Yeah.
And then we go to Villa. Was it directly afterwards? I can't remember.
It was,
but not soon afterwards. I mean, then
Yeah.
he obviously gets hooked at half-time, and then we don't
He
see
had
him.
a few. I think it was Wolves. And there was a few kind of ghost performances, but I don't see a reason why they can't play together. Like,
Yeah.
but then if we've made our decision clearly that Declan Rice is an 8, and we've clearly made our decision that Zubimendi's a 6, that basically only leaves one creative player. So, maybe you could sit Zubimendi down, put Declan Rice back. I'd be fine with that. Even Marino'd in there if you wanted to rest both Declan Rice and Zubimendi. I don't know, but but for Inter, I would be going Kepa, Marley Salmon, Norgard at the back. Who else could you play?
I mean,
We don't have many people in defence, to be fair. But I'd be looking at
bring Mosquera back?
Huh?
Bringing Mosquera
Yeah,
back.
Mosquera.
I
I bet that's the kind of thing I'd be doing.
Lewis Skelly.
Lewis Skelly. I'd be doing Marino, but I think that's different reasons. But to be fair to Gyökeres, when he played against Chelsea, and he looked okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a tap in, and it was a good assist. But he had a week off, and he looked it. So that's why maybe he should just get the minutes from the bench. But I don't know. But my point is, maybe United is the biggest game this season now, because I think City have got Wolves at home.
Yes, they do.
So
They do.
who Wolves are a better team than
Well, they're unbeaten in 4.
God,
I know.
come on, Wolves.
I know.
Man City fixtures.
So they're not doing
Yeah, they got Wolves
too
at home.
badly.
So City have got they've got a tough run actually. Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Liverpool away, Fulham at home, Newcastle, Leeds away, Forest. Yeah.
We've got United at home, Leeds away, Sunderland at home, then Brentford away.
It all, you know what? When you drop points, it all looks hard.
I know what you mean. Then Spurs away, then Chelsea at home. It's quite a crucial time, this.
It's a very crucial time.
Because I wonder how quickly Gay comes into that city.
Instantly.
You'd say like now.
Oh yeah, he'll come instantly. But watching that City United game, I don't think that would help. Jesus Christ.
Weird, wasn't it?
That was crazy. But look, we've got a few minutes left. Let's do our Dick of the Day and our Man of the Match. Who was your Dick of the Day?
God, I haven't even thought about Dick of the Day.
Shall I do mine?
You do yours.
Mine will be Richard Keys. He went full ITK. Have you seen this?
He's an absolute knobber.
He looks about 90, frail, walking around whatever it is he's doing in Dubai. And he's a very sad old man. But he went like this. You know the classic, oh, don't worry. I know. Like the kind of very smug feeling.
Mm.
He was like, you heard it here first.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Pep's
that.
going to be sacked this week. Sorry, what, mate?
I saw that.
And I'm going to eat my own words if that's incorrect, but that's mine.
No,
the other
it
one I
was.
had was Emery for the crazy outburst. You see
Yeah,
that?
weird.
Mate.
Completely lost his head.
Lost his head. He always does. It's classic Emery.
Bizarre. Strange man. He's
Anyway.
a strange man. Mine is Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. Because I saw a podcast and it was with Paddy McGuinness and someone else, and they were talking again about Arteta being out of his box, and then they went on to comment about how tight Arteta's trousers are, and you're just like, lads, just give it a rest.
They literally are old blokes.
Give
shouting
it a
clowns,
rest,
aren't
man.
they?
It's so, this whole being outside the box thing, it's just like, I can't believe it winds grown adults up.
I know, it's so funny.
It's pathetic.
It's the same as like the set piece coach. It's like bless Nicholas Jova, who's
Just doing his job.
I don't think anyone's ever heard Nicholas Jova's voice.
No.
He's not annoying. Do you know what's really funny is that ultimately Arteta's one of his things is inclusion, and it's probably Arteta going, mate, you've worked so hard as a trainer. This is your moment. You deserve to be up. Just watch it. Stand up.
Yeah.
You know, if it
But then
goes
he
in,
got
you deserve some
superstitious.
credit. Basically, it's not a big deal.
No.
And also, other teams do it a lot. They just don't talk about it because it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Like,
Jason
put it this way,
Tinder, whatever it's
not a
called.
single person would be talking about Nick Sioba if the Sky cameras went on him every 5 minutes and Gary Neville didn't bring it up every 2.
Yeah, it's so boring. So that leads me on to my next point, which is, are we Are we in need of a different change of commentators compared to the old United guard, who seem to be everywhere?
Oh my god! Honestly,
Everywhere.
do you know what we need? You know what we really need is we need another United player under Alex Ferguson to go on the overlap. That's what we really
Jesus
need.
Christ. Honestly, we look like Pochi Young or someone like that.
Oh,
It is
God.
mental
Honestly, it's
how
so funny.
how all over the social media, TV, radio, podcast. It's just they're relentless, and it's so boring, and it's so.
Has
and-
anyone called out Paul Scholes for sucking his daughter's toes on TV yet? Has that happened?
Yet.
Because that
Not yet.
needs to happen.
That was wild. It was absolutely wild. There's been there are some absolute wrong-uns in that United in that United old.
gigs.
Well, exactly.
Like there are things that are taken out of context in life. Things you say, things you do. Sucking your daughter's toes, I don't think it's one of those.
Yeah, I don't
think
think
that's basically bad.
Yeah,
know?
you can't really defend that.
You can't squeeze out of that, but yet he tries. And on that note, we should probably wrap up. I will take your man of the match for the game, and I'd love to know how you'd approach Inter.
Oh, who's my man of the match? Who is my man of the match? It's a good point. I don't. It's really hard. Madueke played okay. Martinelli didn't play well.
No way. I mean, Madueke played great, but he was okay. But it's when Saka.
Can I say
came
Matt
on.
Sells?
You can say Matt Sells.
Because I think honestly, he was sensational.
That's that save from Saka. The
Yeah.
over crosses. And
Well, I think so. I think
Save
for the
against
first
Rice.
time ever in this podcast, we've given it to a man who's not an Arsenal player.
well, I was going to give mine to Mikel Merino because I think he looked
Fair enough.
so good when he came on. I don't know what's happened to me and Mikel Merino, but apparently he's my numero uno. Right, well, look, we've got a podcast next week. We've got 2 games in between then. Hopefully, we'll have lost 5-0 to Inter and we've played every single kid we have in under 15s because the points don't matter at this stage. For those of you that don't know the maths, and basically all we need is 3 points to secure top 2 place. We're playing against that Kazakhstan team? Kairak
Yep.
team at home, which should be okay. We should get 3 points to that. The reason why it's important to get top 2 is because that means no matter what happens, if you're in the top 2, you do get the second leg at home for the rest of the Champions League ties, and also you get great ties. So I basically think it's not worth it. And then we go all in for United. We've got 2 games. I hope we lose against Inter with our under 15s, and I hope we smash the shit out of United.
Up the arse.
Up the arse. Rory, thanks so much, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Everyone else, thanks so much for listening. You take care. 2 points dropped, 1 point gained. You decide. Thanks so much for listening. Take care. See you next week.